Hello. All right, I'm live. So today I'm going to record a podcast episode, and this is funny because this is not like what I had planned to do today. I usually record the podcast on Mondays, and on Fridays I go live in a couple different groups to talk about budgeting. But today I was like, I don't know, I went for a bike ride, and then I had like all sorts of ideas. So I follow my intuition, so I'm here. I'm going to record this podcast. So if you're joining me, that is awesome, really great. You'll get to see the behind the scenes of what it looks like for me to record a podcast episode. And I usually will, I also stream live on YouTube when I'm recording them, just so that I'm like not doing it by myself. I don't know. Sometimes people join me and they watch along. So that is what I'm doing. Let me just make some stuff right here. Turn on the light, turn up the, all right. So today I'm going to talk about just overall like end of the year, changing your life stuff. So I'm going to play the intro so you can hear what it sounds like. You know, on my podcast, you can subscribe to. I will put in the comments like the link to subscribe to the podcast, but here's the intro. Welcome to the Everyday Manifesting Podcast, where we talk about money and the law of attraction. I'm your host, Franchelle Caesar, a Dave Ramsey certified master financial coach, a former internal medicine doctor, and a self-proclaimed money mindset expert. I know you'll enjoy today's episode, so subscribe and leave me a review. Now, let's get to it. I love it. I seriously love it. Like sometimes I just listen to it over and over again. And that's apart from the 20 times it took for me to record it. All right, let me see. So I'm going to press record and just get started. Let's see. Welcome back. So today we are going to talk about end of the year stuff. Okay, because for me, recording this right now, it is December 18th, 2020, and I don't know when it is that you're going to be listening to this podcast, but it doesn't matter what the day of the year is. It doesn't matter if it's October the 1st or if it's August 12th. It doesn't matter because your time is going to pass, whether you're celebrating a new year coming in or if it's just a regular old Tuesday. And what we're going to talk about today is how you're going to make this year better than last year and next year better than this year. Okay. I changed my life a couple years ago after hearing my now mentor and good friend, Michelle Rohr, tell the story of living her same year twice. And there was something about that grabbed me. Like, I know it was a God thing. I know it was divine navigation for me to come across this podcast with her telling this story, and for me to Google her and like just go deep into her world, because it completely changed my life. It changed the entire way that I think about my life and what I'm doing. And it put me on an entire different trajectory. I can't even talk today. I'm so excited. So I want to challenge you in the same way that I felt challenged when I listened to Michelle tell her story. You know, how are you going to make sure that next year is not the same as this year? Now, I know 2020 cannot be the same because so many things happened in 2020. There's like no way that we'll ever be the same. We're always going to remember this as the year that was a turning point in so many different ways, good and bad. However, what is it about you personally that you're taking into the new year that will up-level your entire life? What's going to change your entire life from this point on? Because we got a lot of good lessons from January to yesterday. You know, we got a lot of good lessons about who we are as a people and who you personally are. And I'm wondering, how does this change the way you move forward into 2021 or whatever year it is that you're listening to this? So my question to you is, where will you be this time next year? Where will you be? Who will you be? What will you be hoping for, thinking about, longing for, wishing for? Right? Because in all honesty, whatever goals and dreams you have today, you can still have those same goals and dreams without taking a single step. You can have those same things this time next year, the exact same things. Because if you don't take those tiny little actions, nothing's going to change. I think it was Jim Rohn who said, for things to change, you have to change. And a lot of times that change can be scary and it can be, a big difference you want to make in your life. But no matter how big the difference is that you want to make, it's always going to start with one tiny step. And I like to advocate that one tiny step, that first tiny step, is just a decision. It's just a decision. You're just deciding that you're going to change, right? I remember having this feeling of like, enough is enough. Like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of year after year having the same challenges, the same issues, and feeling the same way. And because of that, I started to decide to make these tiny changes, and they ended up making a huge difference in my life. So, what are you going to change and where are you going to be? So I specifically generally talk about money. I talk about money, I talk about debt, because that is my passion, to help people get out of debt, to help them completely up level their life, live like the queens that they know that they are, just by paying off debt and knowing their self-worth and knowing exactly who they are, which governs how they spend money. So that's what I'm talking to you about today. Are you going to be sitting in this spot, not my spot, but your spot? Are you going to be sitting in the same spot next year with the same amount of debt, wondering how you're going to pay it off? Robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know, looking at the same bills, paying the same bills, the same amounts, the same minimum payments, having the same conversations. Will that be your life again next year? Or will you do something today and take a tiny step towards a future that you know you deserve? It's not very difficult. It just takes the decision. And nothing can stand between a woman who makes a decision and the goal that she's after. Nothing can stand between it. Trust me, I know from experience. I didn't want to make the hard decisions for a long time. And once I decided that I didn't want to live that same way again, I realized the decisions weren't really that hard. I just had to take one small step, and everything sort of cleared out and made sense bit by bit by bit. And I was out of debt in a very quick amount of time. And I've lived debt free ever since, and it's been amazing. And I want that for you. I want that to be where you're headed to. It doesn't matter how much debt you have. It doesn't matter. Everything is figure outable, to quote Marie Forleo. And everything can be chipped away one small bit at a time. That's the only way you can pay off a massive amount of debt, is just by doing it a little at a time. I have a process and a system and a container for you if you need it. It makes it very easy, and it takes the thought process and the figuring it out process out of the equation. So all you have to do is work the steps, do the process, and everything kind of falls into place. It's a big confidence booster. Once you first start to realize that you are actually doing it, you're actually getting out of debt, confidence goes through the roof, and it's amazing. And I love to see that happen. So in a year, let's just say you make the decision, you're like, you know what? This is the last time I'm going to find myself in this position, afraid of the next pandemic, afraid of being out of work, afraid of what could happen if I can't cover my bills this month. Let's see what this time next year looks like once you've made that decision. You're sitting in a position where you have a lot less monthly obligations. I would dare to say you have no monthly obligations. Can you even imagine that? Like, just take a deep breath and imagine what it would be like if you had no bills, right? You had no monthly payments. There was nothing. There was no credit card debt. You only had your house payment, your utilities, which you can control. You had your gas, putting gas in your car, which you can control. You had food spending, again, that you can control. Maybe you have childcare. But what if you didn't have a car payment? What if you didn't have any credit card payments? What if you didn't have a student loan payment? All that money added up, how much would that save you per month? But not only save you, because once you're out of debt, it's not that you're saving that money, you're earning that money. It's like you've given yourself an instant raise, right? Like suddenly you have like 600 extra dollars, 800 extra dollars, right? That's coming in. That usually it comes in and then it goes right back out. But now you have no debt. So the money comes in and you actually get to keep it. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a feeling of freedom and a feeling of like flying. It's amazing. And I want you to feel that. Because once you pay off all your debt and you have an emergency fund, you can do what you want. You can do what you want with the money. You can save it. You can set a big goal. You can decide, you know what, we're going to go on this vacation. And the vacation will be cash. You won't be paying on a vacation for like 6 months to a year. You will have your vacation and come home and rest because your vacation is already paid for. You paid for it cash. You didn't have to charge it. It's a beautiful feeling. So I'm wondering, how would it feel for you to be sitting in a year from now in a situation where you have a lot less obligation on your paycheck? What if you have this burning desire, this passion, this amazing gift that you do on the side, right? You have this amazing thing that you're so good at and people always come to you for help and you're really good at it, but you're obligated to work because you have bills and you just do this thing on the weekend and on evenings, or you get up early in the morning and you do it, right? That side hustle life. What if that can be your main job? Now, I know this is a huge mindset shift because I remember talking about this with someone and saying, like, why is work so stressful? Why is it that we go to work, we're stressed out, but the thing that we really love to do, this actually fun, we can't do that as our main job? And I remember the response that I got was because that's the way life is. Because work is not supposed to be fun. Work is supposed to achieve a goal, an outcome, which is to make the money. And then whatever it is that you love to do, you do that in your free time, period. Like that's the answer. And I was like, oh, I mean, it was hard for me to accept that. My heart wouldn't accept that. I was like, oh, that sounds horrible. Like, I believe in God. I deeply believe in all the words. But I'm like, why would God put us here to suffer? Why are we suffering? Right? Why is our main vocation to suffer? And the thing that we love that brings us joy, that makes us feel closer to Him, is something we have to do early in the morning, late at night, and on weekends. I couldn't accept it. And now I've seen that that's not true. It's not true. The thing that we love can be our full-time job, right? And so if you have something that you do on the side as that side hustle lifestyle, and you're like, this could be my full-time job, trust me, it could be. It could be. It may take a lot of planning. It definitely will take a lot of courage. You will learn so much about yourself in the process, but it's worth it because you get to do that thing that you love every single day and you get to sustain your lifestyle with it. Here's the thing. Here's the caveat. You have to pay off your debt and be free enough so that when you're trying to do that thing that you love, you're not feeling anxious about the money. Like, I need to make this work because I have these bills. And people always ask, how do you quit your job and follow your passion? I always say the first thing you need to do is be unburdened. right? You have to be unburdened, or else you're going to think like, I can't do this, and you feel like you can fail. But you will feel like you won't fail if you pay off all that debt so that you only have those monthly obligations I told you about, like your housing, your food, gas in your car. If that's all you have, your passion can pay for that each month. It's a mindset shift. It's a whole mindset shift. But it's amazing. And you can be there. You can be sitting in a place where you feel happy and loved, and you feel like your life has totally changed and is totally different than it was before. It is entirely possible. It's possible for you, and I want that for you. I really do. So, where do you start? First place you start is the debt snowball. I talked to you about that in the last video. I told you exactly how to set it up. If you need help, I am here to help you. I have finally opened the doors to the membership club. The Everyday Manifesting Membership Club is open. And what we do, we go through the practical steps of budgeting. And in the coming year, we are talking more about everything else in your life that revolves around money and confidence and community and spending. So if you think that this is right for you, then where would you go? You would go to www.everydaymanifesting.club, and there will be a link somewhere, wherever you are watching or listening to this, there will be a link. And if you're not ready to join the club, or you don't feel like you're a spender, you just want to get organized around your money, you can always grab the budget diary. The budget diary is this amazing, beautiful planner that helped me personally pay off over $500,000 in debt in 14 months. I built it as I taught myself how to budget. And so it's different than anything else that's out there. It's very much geared towards bringing joy into the process and grace into the process, because when the process feels very sterile and very heavy, it's really hard to manifest money. It's really hard to stick to the plan. So I made it as fun as possible, as colorful as possible, as beautiful as possible. And even the planner itself looks luxurious because I wanted you to feel like you're in luxury, even though you may have debt. That's okay. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, because as the year is winding down, and I literally realized next week was Christmas week yesterday. Like I literally was like, oh, like what's the date? Okay, Christmas is next week. I just realized that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the time of the year when I really start focusing on my goals, because by New Year's I want to have all my goals lined out. I want to have all my next year planning, not the whole year, but like the first quarter planning done. And I thought it just kind of snuck up on me because, obviously coronavirus, we're not really getting together like we normally would. So all of the Christmas planning has just kind of been like off the front of my brain. So it snuck up on me, and I was thinking, well, you know what? I really want to challenge the people who are in my circle to think about how to make next year better, to where December 18th, 2021, you're sitting in a position where you can look back and say, wow, look what I did, proud of myself, right? And it's a beautiful feeling. So that's all I have for you today. Check out the website that I gave you if you want to learn more about the Members Club. And I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season if you're listening to this before Christmas time. And I hope to talk to you soon. Send me a message. Bye. All right. So I'm going to add my outro. That's how I make podcasts. Like, it's not even anything hard. It's not hard at all. But The mindset trash is the part that slows you down on making a podcast. That's the only thing. And if you're like me, you don't sleep and then you like stutter through the whole thing and it's like, oh man, that was so bad because I was just tripping over my words. Okay, and you get to hear the outro once this thing. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Like, where will you be next year? Let me know what that little bit of convo sparked for you. Okay, here's my outro. ¿A dónde vas? It's in my folder. Okay, here you go. Let's add it and listen to it. Thank you for listening to the Everyday Manifesting Podcast. Wasn't that super helpful? Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Also, the Everyday Manifesting Members Club is now open. It's now open! This is where I coach women of color to manage money with an abundance mindset. Abundance mindset. You can reach your financial goals without living on a super tight budget, without clipping coupons, and without eating ramen noodles for 5 years. No ramen noodles. Our motto is, you can have your cake and eat it too. Find out more and get your free guide at everydaymanifesting.club. That's everydaymanifesting.club. Talk to you next time. All right. And then I just publish it because I don't go back and clean anything up. I really don't. I have to put the title in and all that, but I just publish it just like that. So all the ums and all that stuff and the losing my train of thought, it's all in there. Like, what up? So yeah, and one day I will actually, my friend Chisomo reminded me like, hey, don't you, I mean, she didn't say this, but this is what I got from reading her post. I was like, hey, don't you want to make a blog post about that episode and some Pinterest graphics so people can actually find it? And I'm like, oh, okay, not today, but someday soon. So I'll be doing that eventually. I'll put that on my 2021 goals list. How about that? So yeah, I will let you know. I just got a thought like while I was thinking, I was like, oh, I do have another blog post to make because I'm actually putting my 2020 like things that I achieved list and my 2021 goals list as a time capsule, 20 years on my website on a blog. It's like a little time capsule. So if you're curious, if you're just like, what the heck does this girl do? Then you can go and look at it. So I will let you know when that's up. I'll put a link and I'm gonna send it out to my email list. Also, if you want to be on my email list, go to everydaymanifesting.club and you can sign on to my friends list and I send you emails about the musings and the things that are in my brain that are less random than the things that I post on social media. All right, and I will talk to you. If you want to get a budget diary, how about I put the links to that somewhere? It's probably on my profile. Sure, you can find it. It's easy. All right, adios. Have a wonderful weekend and a Merry Christmas. If I don't see you, I will probably see you because my kids will be out, so I'll probably just be doing stories and stuff. Bye.